talk about kind of fun thing here. We're gonna simulate Survivor. So you may not, yeah, you may not survive with your phone because of radiation, but that's what we're gonna see if we can escape surveillance. Is our target tonight. So we're going to teach you about phone surveillance and how we can theorize the situation here. The situation we're going to theorize is that somebody's chasing you, and we can kind of invent who the characters are. It could be the government, it could be some three-letter agency, it could be law enforcement, it could be some company that wants to get to shame you in some way. It could be like Romantech, company like that. Could be somebody from the mafia trying to do that to you. Things like that. So in any case, there's a lot of times you can be chased, and we're going to talk about your phone, the ZRS, the ZRS. Hello, Claire Peters. Hello, Donnie. So somebody's chasing you. Somebody's always chasing you. Some woman is chasing you, saying you abandoned the family, Van. You abandoned the family somewhere. That's the feds. So how could a psychopath who's into could be a psychopath who's into blackmail? Yes, could be anything. Hello, Life of the Spirit. How you doing, Bob? So it's gonna be fun. We're gonna theorize because I want to show you the defects with these devices, and so if you understand, what you got to do, then this is a practical lesson in how these things work, these devices, and so it's a hello Taiwan Lee. It's a way to teach you in a kind of a fun way instead of just saying, okay, these are the characteristics of the Zucking phones, Tinkerballs. This is the characteristic of the Zucking phone. This one has UMTS 2100 and it's compatible with 3G. We can go into all these kinds of details, and it's not going to be remembered. So the best way is just look at each phone and see what the Zucking problem with each one. B and BBB. 5G will be very toxic. Really? So why are they releasing it if it's toxic? Are you sure about that, or just conspiracy theory? Is it really true? I have no idea. By the way, guys, this is really fascinating. Every time I post music on YouTube, somebody's always giving me a signal by unsubscribing to me every time I post music. It's very funny. Like, oh, you're posting music again, I'll unsub you. And then when I do a regular broadcast, somebody subs back. It's crazy. Is that like a signal saying, I don't want you to post music on your channel? Well, I just happen to have a backlog. I posted some music to my channel. Hello, Todd Jeffries. I posted some music to my channel, and it's the immediate effect was somebody unsubbed me. So it's like, I didn't know it was going to be bad. I'm going to start to text like Andy Cap. Who the zuck is Andy Cap? Hello, Redmond 454. Anyway, it's going to be fun. So we're going to they have no taste. So we're gonna theorize the case here where we're gonna. Here's the good news today in this discussion. I have many phones at my disposal today, guys. Got an iPhone here. This is an iPhone 10, so we can talk about that. Of course, I have an iPad here, even though we're talking about phones. And look what I have here. Look what I have. Look what I have. Couldn't believe I found this. What model is this? Does anyone is that the model isn't shown, so I don't know what model it is. I don't remember anymore. S9. Yes, obviously it's a dumb phone, but hello, Lavelle. So it's It's got that keyboard thing in there. And then this is an Android. So this is an Android that I have. I have a few Androids. That's not a BlackBerry. This is a BlackBerry. So it still has plastic on it. It's so new, it's still covered in plastic. So yeah, I just got this. Can you measure the radiation? Hello, Keith. So maybe you can fork the music into separate music. I did, Mad Cow, but I need the music. I need the hour. So temporarily, I'm posting it. Okay, so I got you know, this is actually running. It has a SIM card on it. I don't know if this is running. If this can run, because this is kind of an old phone. But I didn't even realize it had. I just found this, and I actually don't even recall. I mean, this must have been 2005. I don't actually recall having this. I probably never used the texting, so that's why I never recalled having this. So, but anyway, that's. I got to check the model. Maybe this is still usable. This could be still usable. I got to check the specs. Let me text you on the BlackBerry. Yeah. So we're gonna talk about some of this, but right now, let's assume I'm on an iPhone, or actually, let's do worst case scenario. Let's do a worst case scenario. This is a Alcatel. This is an Alcatel Android. Okay, which I bought a few months ago from, or last year, late last year. I bought this from Amazon. So this is a Alcatel. It's like a very cheap Android made by Amazon. It's actually Amazon branded. This is an Amazon branded phone. So let's say I'm walking around with this. I'm walking around with this. So I want to teach you things like, some of you will mention terms like burner phones. This is Alcatel. What are we talking about tonight? We're talking about the Survivor series. You're being chased. So this is the scenario. Again, we're going to have fun with this. And we're going to theorize. I don't know all the answers. So we're going to go, it's a knockoff you bought out of a trunk in an alley. Really? So, because I bought it from Amazon, and there's an email confirming I bought this from Amazon, panties, bras, and Alcatel phones. This is actually, I forgot, that was the title I wanted to use, Jason Bourne. Suck. I forgot that was the title I actually wanted to put on. I wanted the title to be Chasing Jason Bourne based on his phone. Okay? Suck. I screwed up. So we're going to assume we're Jason Bourne, okay? We're going to assume we're Jason Bourne. We have different kinds of phones. And then we're going to see if Jason Bourne can be chased with this phone, that phone, or any other phone. Okay? Zuck! Chasing Bourne, yes. So we're going to be hunting Jason Bourne. That's the topic tonight. You're still buying panties. Of course, Jen Morgan, I'm still buying panties and bras. So from Amazon. Yes, you don't like that. Jen, you don't like that. It's like... you're just like, if I knew who Jack Bauer was, but since I don't know who Jack Bauer is, then I can't help you. So anyway, Jason Bourne has, we're going to start off with scenarios like starting with Jason Bourne with an Android. And then we're going to chase him down and see how fast he can be caught with an Android phone, with an iPhone, with any other device, okay? Are you going to track him down live? It's gonna be a simulation. We're gonna fake it, okay? We're gonna fake it. So right now, let's assume that Jason Bourne is holding this phone. Jason Bourne is holding this phone. So he calls the, in the movie, he calls up the ducking IA office. He calls don't run too fast. Oh, Jack Bauer and his flip phone TV show. I just don't know. Let's invite Matt Damon. Okay, so in the movie he calls up the CIA office, right, and gives them a threat, like I know what the zuck is up, kind of call, right? And so they said, okay, what phone did that come from? You should do an actual tracking of a volunteer. No, I don't have equipment for that. You'd have to you have to be with the phone company or the Zucking Eye. This is Born. What's Treadstone? That's good. That's good. What's Treadstone? Yes. Yes, that's it. That's it. What is Treadstone? So I'm glad you don't e-beg. What is e-beg? So Bourne uses this phone to call up, and let's say he doesn't throw it away. He makes a call. We're going to theorize all the different scenarios in which works best for him based on who the Treadstone is your gay porn name. Okay. So anyway, he calls up. What is known when you call? Well, a couple of things are known. First of all, your call is registered with the carrier. So the carrier is able to spot the SIM card, okay, and they can say, well, where did this SIM card come from? So they're gonna track the SIM card information, and there will be an identifier on the SIM card, which is unique to your phone, and I forget is it ICC number? I'm trying to remember what the actual number is called. I think it's ICC. Somebody can verify that later, but the number that it's in the SIM card. So somebody can correct me later. ICMI, is it really? ICMI, I thought it was ICC something. Anyway, no, IMEI is the device. We're talking about no, not IMEI. Okay, so the ICC number, or the number of the SIM card, is the only thing that they first have, and then they can go talk to the carrier and call up your carrier. In this case, let's say it's AT&T or something, and they say, okay, so we got a call from this phone. So can you identify that SIM card? And say, yep. Well, where was that bought? So they can say, oh, that was purchased from Best Buy in cash. Purchased from Best Buy in cash. Okay. So ICID. It's not ICCID. Okay. ICC. I thought it was ICCID. Yeah. Yeah. I know there were like 2 C's in there. So they can go to Best Buy to the carrier, and they can say, yes, that's a SIM card we sell to Best Buy. And so now the 3-letter agency could, in theory, then go to Best Buy and say, I want to see this transaction for this SIM card. Yeah, this is a 3-letter agency example. We'll change the example as we go along. I want to see. We'll make sure you understand the SIM card problem first, and then we go on to all the other issues. I want to see all the transactions from when this SIM, because they can backtrack from when the SIM card was activated. So obviously, if the SIM card was activated, at midnight last night, then they can say it was purchased before then. They can look for all transactions at Best Buy, let's say in the last 24 hours that have to do with SIM cards. So they say they found, oh yeah, we have a transaction. We have 5 transactions with SIM cards paid in cash during the following times, because obviously they're going to suspect only the cash purchases. So they can then say, okay, we'd like to see the security camera for when this purchase was made between, let's say, 9 and 10 p.m. Would like to see the security camera. And then, but Jason Bourne, Jason Bourne is smart. I mean, it's like doing this. It's like, wearing sunglasses indoors and wearing a hat. So that's all they can see. And they say, who's that? They're not sure who it is because he's wearing a hat and sunglasses. Okay? So they can't tell who it is exactly, but they know it's a man because, the man made the purchase. And then they can say, okay, what identity did he put in the SIM card? See, one of the things you do when you have a SIM card is you actually have to put in your identifying information, even when you pay for it in cash. When you register the SIM card online, you have to put some information about who you are. Okay, but this is something I'm going to teach you that I found out. Something I'm going to teach you right now. Apparently, the phone company does not check to see if the information you put in is real. They do not check that the address, your name, or anything is real. When you pay for something in cash, you go to their website and put the information in. Okay? So you'd go online, you go to the thing, you go online and register the device, and if you go online, you fill in a bunch of stuff, and you do not have to put in real information. They don't know that. In Spanish, if you know Spanish, so they don't actually know that it's real or not. So the Zucking IA will look at the data and say, that's probably forged, because they're going to check the actual other names, say, oh, that's what's real. Let's say there were 3 cash purchases. They're going to check the other 2 and see if there's actually real identity or if it's a fake identity, because that's easy to check. Check the address. I mean, you don't even have to have the ZIA do that. I mean, you can do that on Intellius or Spokio. Okay, all you have to do is type the name and address and see if it comes out on Axiom, Spokio, Intellius, and you know if it's a real one. So oh wow, first name PC, last name computer. Next, check all computer and traffic cameras within 1/2 mile radius at point of purchase. Wait, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. So they check that the SIM card is they don't know what the identity of the person is. But we're gonna theorize some mistakes made by our Jason Bourne. We're gonna make Jason Bourne kind of stupid at the beginning and maybe he gets smarter at the end. Okay, there's more. Yes. So one of the things that Jason Bourne did in this scenario is he went to the website. He's using an Android phone. He went to the website, and he has 2 problems that he didn't realize. He didn't realize, A, that this phone has his exact location. Exact location. He doesn't realize that the SIM card, once you make the call, attaches the SIM card ICC ID. What an idiot. Attaches the SIM card ICC ID to the IMEI, or the actual number of the phone, and so the device itself is identified. So they know, okay, we have found out that he's using an Android, Alcatel Android. So we know that. Okay, could be used, so they don't know exactly who owns this, but at least it fixes the address. So this is what Jason Bourne, because he thinks he's smart, so he actually authorizes several SIM cards. He doesn't buy one SIM card. You know, all the 5 SIM cards that were purchased in cash were all his. And he went to the website and gave them all separate identities. He actually has 5 SIM cards, and he's going to use them interchangeably with this. Okay? So, here's the problem. Let's assume he doesn't have Facebook. Because that will zuck him up. That will zuck him up for sure. So we'll assume he doesn't have Facebook. So one of the things that he does then is say, okay, I'm going to activate each SIM card. So he activates each SIM card separately. This device will have the same IMEI number with all 5 SIM cards. So they will know at the carrier side that, oh, you activated 5 separate SIM cards for the same phone. 5 separate SIM cards for SIM. They know this because they're going to match. Every time you load in a new SIM card, they're going to match the IMEI to the ICC ID of each SIM card. So they will know that it's the same device. What a maroon. Yes, it will have the same. Yeah, you act like what a maroon, Tinkerballs, but the reality is most people don't know this. The other thing that's happened is that the device is attached to Google Google has a tracking on this device within 6 zucking feet at all time. IMI spoofing cannot be done on this phone. You have to create a fake device for that. You can't. You have to have a different device for IMI spoofing. You can't do it on a standard phone. But Bourne should know better. He needs not training. Think the Chinese know more than anyone suspects. Anyway, so the problem is, this is the problem that I told you about. It's on my video. Please subscribe to my YouTube account to learn about the video. Yeah, you can reprogram an IMEI on the old phone numbers, but in most cases it's on the chip. It's at the chip level. So yeah, maybe he knows how to change the IMEI. I didn't think about that. Yeah, if you're working for if you're Jason Bourne, maybe you're able to change the IMEI. So let's give him that. Let's say that he knows, he works for the phone company, he knows how to change the IMEI number. Okay, so we'll give, by the way, guys, if you change the IMEI number, it's a federal crime. Federal. You go to zucking jail. Okay, FBI. Don't change your zucking IMEI, okay? That's hello open source. That's surefire way to make sure that 3-letter agencies will be chasing you. Yes, changing the IMEI number on a phone would be considered a federal crime, so don't do that. Okay? So but let's say this is Jason Bourne. He can do that. He can change the IMEI. But Jason Bourne forgot, because he wasn't thinking, that he has an Android. This Android has Wi-Fi on it. And guess what happens when you have a Wi-Fi phone from Android? What happens is this device has built-in Wi-Fi triangulation. Along with a law in the books, it was in there since at the time of Kevin Mitnick. When Kevin Mitnick was hacking phones in the 90s and so on, he was using he was manipulating these devices. But it's my phone. So anyway, this device has Wi-Fi on it, and it has Android. So the two little secrets that you ought to know is that if you have both, my volume's too loud. If you have both an Android, which is this, and Wi-Fi, which is true of all smartphones, every smartphone has Wi-Fi. It's equipped with Wi-Fi triangulation. Now, what is Wi-Fi triangulation again? It's in my video. If you subscribe to my YouTube account, you'll learn about this. What is Wi-Fi triangulation exactly? It means that this device is using something called promiscuous mode. This is discussed in the video. It's something called promiscuous mode. This device is automatically looking for Wi-Fi's near you. So it's going to say, oh, I see, Wi-Fi in the street over there, Wi-Fi in the neighbor's house, Wi-Fi in your house, Wi-Fi across the street, Wi-Fi down below in my apartment building, and on and on and on. So it finds all the, forget about the cell towers. That's that's not good enough for the zucking IA. They're going to use Wi-Fi triangulation. They're not going to worry about cell towers. They're not going to find you in a cell tower. Cell tower will give you like a quarter-mile square. That's pretty hard to, how are they going to find you in a quarter-mile square area? Okay, it's got to be narrowed down, so they know exactly which individual it is, and they can do that with Wi-Fi triangulation. Now, two problems with the way Jason Bourne did this. Promiscuity, just some fun sex on the side. No, Jen, now, promiscuous mode is on the phone. You got promiscuous phones here. So this phone is actively searching for Wi-Fi's around you. And unfortunately, that's the basis of Wi-Fi triangulation. All they have to do is find a phone near you. Black phone, it has modified Android or used by agencies. Can't even buy a black phone now, you look on Amazon, and the black phones they have are used, and they said this is going to be discontinued. So I don't know if they can even sell a black phone. There's a modified BlackBerry with a modified Android, but you see, unless you know what they modified, I'm not sure what it does, because they actually take out Wi-Fi triangulation on there, which is the one thing I'm going to take out. If FBI, are you watching? No Tinkerballs. I don't watch TV. So the problem is, and this is true of this Android here, this is true of this iPhone right here. These devices have Wi-Fi triangulation, and there's no way to stop it. Okay, let me repeat that. Smartphones, meaning to be precise, Android and iOS, that's all you need to know. Android and iOS. If you're using Android and iOS, then you're zucked. Okay? Some of you will actually think, can I buy a burner phone? Well, the thing is, because burner phones typically need to use Android because they don't want to pay for making an operating system, so they actually use Android even on cheap phones. So they put a cheap screen on it, and and it has Wi-Fi. So basically, even any burner phone you buy from Best Buy will have Wi-Fi on it. You know those prepaid burner phones? Jason Bourne knows better. He's a little bit smarter than that. Jason Bourne did not buy the phones from that. He bought a used phone. Even after you turn off the phone, it's still it's traceable when you use it. Obviously, it's not tracing when you turn it off. But if it's on standby, it's working. So it's terribly hard to disconnect the battery of my phone. Yeah. So if it's powered up or on standby, then it's zucking you. In order for this to work and not track you, it has to be either completely off or you put it in a Faraday bag. Standby mode, where it can accept the call, but the screen is inactive. Even if you turn off, you cannot turn off Wi-Fi on the phone. Custodian, may I ask you, how do you think you turn off Wi-Fi on the phone? How do you think you do that? So let me just explain to you what the problem is. Okay, some people think that you can turn off Wi-Fi by flipping the switch off the software. Some people think you can turn off Wi-Fi by going to airplane mode. Okay? The problem is, as long as there's power to the Wi-Fi, and you don't really know if there's power to the Wi-Fi or not, it's emitting a signal coming from the Wi-Fi promiscuous mode, which has no switch, and it's able to capture all the Wi-Fi's near you. Now, it may wait for a network connection to send the data, but it still captures the data, so it knows where you've been. So let's say you turn the phone off and you go 10 different places. Then you finally turn the phone on and the network connects, and now it's sending the data to Google about what you just did, and it captured all the data in cache and sent it over. We don't know that. Hello, twin mom. We don't know that. And we're going to assume that it's tracking that. So we're going to have to assume that, because that's the way I would do it if I were designing these. Okay? I have an actual example of that. There's a project from a company called Skyhook Wireless. Skyhook Wireless is one of the companies that does location tracking. And they actually have a Raspberry Pi project working exactly as I say. You put this Raspberry Pi, you put battery or powered off, and in a Faraday bag. So you put the Raspberry Pi in a car, and the Raspberry Pi will locate you using Wi-Fi triangulation as you drive around. And then when it gets home to your home base, it connects to the network and sends the data. That's how the Raspberry Pi works. So that we're going to assume that's how this works. Guess why I assume that's the way it works? The Raspberry Pi project is made by Skyhook Wireless. The chip that's in this phone, it's a Broadcom chip that is using that for doing location. That chip is using software made by Skyhook Wireless, the same company. There's a Broadcom chip on your iPhone. The Broadcom chip has location software made by Skyhook Wireless. which is able to spot your location within 6 zucking feet at all times. Hello, Dallas, my friend. Okay, 6 zucking feet at all times. You can buy a true Faraday bag. You don't need to go use an aluminum foil. We don't know if the aluminum foil is good enough, to block. Maybe so many layers of it, but I don't know how many layers you would need. So they actually sell Faraday boxes and so on. Raspberry Pi brain is also Broadcom. Is it? So Skynet Terminator, yes. So anyway, you see the excitement here that you are actually being tracked by, is it true for older phones? Like, yes, it's true from, I'm going to guess, probably, this is not 100%. I'm going to guess it started between iPhone 3 and iPhone 4. I don't know exactly. So definitely iPhone 4 is going to have it. Definitely iPhone 4. Now, does iPhone 1 and 2 have it? No. iPhone 4 definitely. Does iPhone 3 have it? I don't know. So that's not certain, okay? But since then, every device has been sold, including computers. So the time period you're going to look for is around 2010 or so. It's not 10% either. Jason Bourne has only minutes to escape. Yes. So about 10 minutes. I mean 10 minutes. About 2010. From there, then the device, if any new device from 2010 on, is going to have tracking on Wi-Fi. So Walmart sells a Faraday bag. Yeah, you can buy a Faraday bag on Amazon too. So, but you don't need a Faraday bag. You just need the right kind of phone, which we're gonna do in a moment here. Okay. So, this is the most zucked up because we can't really turn off the Android here. Let me tell you the next mistake. Mad Cow has the exact model of the Broadcom chip. Jason Bourne made the second mistake. Vehicles with Wi-Fi as well. Vehicles with Wi-Fi are going to use Linux. So they're probably, if they're not running Android, they're probably okay for that. But the GPS may be running. Tell me about this Faraday bag. Why don't I do that in a separate video, Faraday bags, on YouTube, okay? But forget about the Faraday bags right now because there's an alternative solution to this. Yes, of course I'm live, initials. Okay, so, I mean, you're in a live show and you're asking me if you're live. Okay, so the problem that Jason Bourne had is he went to the website registering his SIM card with AT&T or T-Mobile or whoever he used, okay, or any one of the other resellers of AT&T and T-Mobile. So, for example, an reseller is Ting.com. So he could have gone to Ting.com, went to the website, and the zucking IA said, oh, I guess you registered your Ting.com on that website. So now the 3-letter agency can go to Ting.com and say, what is the location registered for that device? Here's the problem, folks. Here's the problem. Every time you use a zucking website, the website can track your location on an Android specifically within 6 zucking feet. And of course, Jason Bourne does not remember to turn off location on his phone. So he went to the website because he was in a hurry. He didn't turn off location. His location was registered on the website for Ting.com, zucked. And then the CI is rushing down to catch him. Okay, so, you know. So what's his name? Jason Bourne said, well, I'm zucked. So he pulls out the SIM card, throws it away. And then, you know, used to only one time to call CIA. And then he jumps in his car and drives around. Now, somebody already mentioned this. Depending on the city, there would be cameras on the roadways, cameras on intersections. And they would be able to spot who left, what kind of car left the Best Buy and I mean the registered location based on, the tracking of the location, what car left that location, and what the closest intersection is, and then take license plates. Okay, so they could narrow it down like that. Let's just say, he happened to be in a place where the nearest camera wasn't that close, and he got away, and he wasn't spotted based on the location for his phone. So he's thinking to himself, okay, I'm zucked. I better not do that again. And then he goes to his next hideaway. Okay, don't drive. So then he says, okay, I'm going to use my second SIM card. So he plugs in the second SIM card to the phone. Okay, second SIM card, new phone number. So what does he do? He calls his mom. Says, Mom, I'm being chased. I'm being chased, Mom. You may not hear from me, but I need some money. Can you send me money to this post office box? Or, send it to me via whatever. Okay? And I need a gun. Put it in this locker at the train station. Take the red line. Okay, so wire me some Bitcoin. Yeah, nowadays you can do that. So Jason Bourne said, okay, call my mom. I'm just going to see if my mom can go figure it out for me. Problem. The IMEI, I guess I said he could change the IMEI, but let's say he didn't change the IMEI. He would actually find that the first SIM card will be matched to the second SIM card, and now they will know who he is now because he called somebody he knows. This is the problem with burner phones. Think here. Some people say, I'm going to use a burner phone. Now, where's Wee Fu Ken? He loves using burner phones. Okay? Wee Fu Ken loves using burner phones. The problem is, if you don't think this out, the burner phone is useless. Because what did they find out? There's always a pattern of calls you make on any phone you have. You're going to call the same number of people. You're going to call your wife, your mother, your son, your daughter, or whatever. There's always a certain number of people you will call, your close friend. And that will be duplicated by other phone numbers. It's like a contact list. So basically, by looking at the combination of phones matched to the IMEI and say, okay, this IMEI, that's the identifier for the phone, not the SIM card. Okay? Forget about the SIM card. The phone number may change, but the burner phone itself could be the same. I'm just theorizing this for a moment. In the case of Jason Bourne, they would know then what his identity is and said, Zuck, that's Jason Bourne we're chasing. We're chasing Jason Bourne. He can't know about Treadstone. We got to zuck him up before he learns about Treadstone. So that's what happens. Now, some of you will say, well, I only use, the burner phone for one purpose. The problem is, let's say you have a regular phone and then a burner phone. Let's say this is a burner phone. You got a regular phone and a burner phone. What's the problem now? The problem is they will match these two phones up. They will match these two phones up. That's a good idea. Everyone uses a burner phone. Okay? They will match these two up by the collection of phone calls you make, by the phone numbers. They'll say, search the database for numbers called from this group of people. And then it could be any phone number, but if there's an intersection of of names, they'll say, match. This burner phone is this guy. The only way that a burner phone actually is secure enough is if you use it one time. I'm going to tell you a book that actually has this little story. I read a lot of stories from this author. His name is Eisler. What's his first name? And the name of the book is God's Eye View. God's Eye View by B. Eisler. What is his first name? Eisler. But it's God's Eye View. And it's a book about the NSA chasing this woman. No, not Bernard. chasing this woman and with an evil NSA, evil National Zucking Agency. That's what the book is about. It's a little bit outdated because the information was from 2005 or something. Alexa, buy God's Eye View. Anyway, this book is actually focuses a lot on chasing on a phone. That's actually what the book's about, because it was before they were doing location tracking. God's Eye View by Eisler. Barry Eisler. God's Eye View. Is it Barry? That could be. That sounds right. Barry Eisler. Yeah. Eisler. And he has a lot of books like that. Anyway, they're popular books. But the one that is specific to learning about phones and what it does, it's when God's Eye View is actually, strangely enough, God's Eye View is actually quite more realistic than you actually imagine. If anything, it's out of date. They have more capability than that's on that book, and it will scare you about what they can do. You read that book and you say what they can do with these phones. And so in the book, what they do is they only use a burner phone once and they throw it away. One-time use. One SIM card, one phone, dump. One SIM card, one phone call only. One phone call only. And then everything that they use to communicate, they use a Tor. They connect it through Tor, through tails. And that's how they would pass message, by putting it in a secret box somewhere. The zucking solution. The zucking solution, don't worry, that's coming. I got to do a step-by-step, Tinker. Don't be in a rush. Okay, I got to give you the basics so you know what the thing is. Now, why do you need to be concerned like a Jason Bourne? And you say, well, I'm not Jason Bourne. Well, it's fun to think about a spy here. It's fun to think like a spy. We don't necessarily have to think about the spying the same degree, because you're not evading the National Zucking Agency. But on the other hand, you may be evading third parties trying to track your location. And I'm gonna be very clear with you. As I said in this example, Google every few seconds tracks your location on an Android. This is the Android here. Google's tracking your location if you're carrying an Android within 6 zucking feet. Apple is tracking your location within 6 zucking feet. Okay, and if you have any doubt, take your iPhone and look at Find My Phone and see where you are. If you say, well, that's not really true, it doesn't really spot me within 6 zucking feet, well, go look at Find My Phone. Sometimes it has some parallax problems with elevation and things, but generally it would find you within 6 zucking feet using Wi-Fi triangulation, unless you're out in the woods somewhere. If you're in the open, hello Jericho. If you're out in the city, it will find enough Wi-Fi's around you that you will be triangulated within 6 zucking feet. So there is no way, I'm going to be very direct here, there is no way to turn off the fact that Apple and Google can track you on an Android and iOS. There is no zucking way to turn that off, as long as you have a smartphone with power without a Faraday bag. There's no way to turn it off. So you have to just automatically assume this. If you're going to bring a phone to your Trump protest, or you're going to say, I'm going to go over to this house and do a vandalize this house while I'm walking around with my phone, you're going to be zucked. Okay? You're going to be zucked. So there's many situations that I can tell, did you go to Alcoholics Anonymous? And if somebody at Google said, we need to find out everyone who's, a recovering or trying to recover alcoholic, let's find out who's going to all the anonymous Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. They can find you. Let's find all the gay people, see who goes to every gay bar. Or some sort of meeting political meeting and say, okay, who went to the Antifa meeting? Who went to the MAGA meeting with Cernovich? Cernovich said, this is one of the things this is one of the things that Cernovich said on one of his broadcasts a couple of years ago. I remember he said, "Oh, we need to meet physically." He says, "We need to meet physically. We need to meet physically. It's not enough that you see me here on Periscope. No, we got to fight back by meeting physically. So we're going to have a meeting in Washington D.C." So I can see all the idiots that are going to go to Washington D.C. with their phone, Android and iOS. That's most of us. And somebody's going to say, "Oh, now we know exactly who owns these phones and who actually are followers of Cernovich. So let's go flag these guys, and now we have a very narrowly targeted market." You don't want people to go to Chuck E. I wouldn't want anyone to know I go to Chuck E. Cheese either. Free to laugh now. I wouldn't want to do that either. So it's very distressing to know that somebody knows so much of our behavior simply from locations, and to remind you, and to remind you, especially for those who are LGBT and all the other letters after that, that Nixon actually said he wanted to create a database, told J. Edgar Hoover to come up with a database of LGBT, and so that they can do some discrimination against the LGBT, because he thought they were all communists. This is in the history books. Okay, if you actually don't believe this, but this is in history books. You know Bonzo very well. Bonzo, so disturbing. So yes, so the point is, any group of people can be identified. Let's say I'm a terrorist, and I say I'm gonna go find all the Jews. Well, that's pretty simple if you know location. And then I have a friend inside Google, and they can go check the database out for all the people that are in this particular temple. Could they find that out? Yes. Could you find that out without even going to Google and buying it from a third party? Suck, yes. They did it at Tesla. You know what they did at Tesla? They said, we want to know the number of employees at Tesla, so they tracked everyone's phone from apps on the sucking phone. This is why I chose not to be a terrorist. Yes. So I've moved on, as it were, retired now. Come on, Rob. See, those categories are doing much of the intimidating these days. Kelp, I'll change it. MAGA. Whatever example you want, Kelp. It doesn't matter who it is. There's always some group. Okay? So you feel like you're I use Cernovich as an example. Cernovich's followers. So if you feel like you're a censored group or whatever, and you feel like Alex Jones, perfect. Alex Jones followers. Let's say Alex Jones said, "Let's have a meeting. Let's meet in Washington D.C." and all Alex Jones followers meet in Washington D.C. Oh my gosh, that will just zuck you up. That will just zuck you up. Okay, so they will say, okay, here's all the conspiracy theorists all in one group. So now we will flag all these people as conspiracy theorists, and now we know how to deal with them. Okay, so they're gonna go, change your internet for each and every one of you because you've been identifying with Alex Jones. So this is an example of how location is used in a way that that can really zuck you up. Yes, Kelp, as you should know, activist groups on either side tend to be the target. Okay? So activist groups on either side, Antifa and all that, it's the more you go to the extremes, and those are targets for identification. So they know I've been to see Gaga in Vegas. They know that, Tinker. Yes, doxing and Ouija board lovers. Let's meet up. So that's a pretty specific, Jerry. That's a very specific, very specific category. So Kelp agrees that we should monitor these people. Kelp just said Kelp will actually go to the three-letter agencies and say, "Yep, let's track Alex Jones and Company." Kelp just said that. So he's confirming that they will actually do this. So that's how you roll, Jerry. Yes. So that's the problem with these sucking smartphones. They are really zucked up. So I said to myself, what would it take to have a phone that cannot be tracked? Now, here's the other part here. Okay, if you use an iPhone, Apple knows your exact location as it shows up in your Find My Phone, 6 feet, right? So you know that Apple and Google's accuracy are about the same. But the websites don't necessarily see that exactness because they kind of, they kind of pull up a little bit from the exact location. This is what Safari does. Safari does not use the exact location. They pull up a little bit. Okay, so they'll find you maybe, within a quarter of a mile or something. Okay, so Safari will pull up. So if you're using Safari on your phone, which is the default, then typically the location on websites, since we're talking about Jason Bourne contacting the phone company, that won't be as accurate there. So they'll have to use other means like cell tower tracking and so on, and GPS. Since all of these devices also have a GPS, he'll be tracked by GPS, which will bring him, within around 100 feet or so, 100, 200 feet with GPS. Okay, so that's how they're going to figure his location out, between 100 to 200 feet with a GPS. But Wi-Fi triangulation is 6 feet. I can't walk anymore. Yep. Yeah. Oh my gosh. You can't fix your cars anymore, Jen. Can't fix your cars anymore. Doc, you haven't given me an update. You haven't gone to Brax. It turns out boomers are smartest generation for protecting self against nonsense. There you go, Karen. So what's the solution to these Zuckers? Well, I'm going to tell you because I have them. Okay, so on iPhone, it's marginally better for avoiding the location because the websites, unless you use Chrome on a device, the websites don't actually get to use the Wi-Fi triangulation. But let me just tell you some bad news. If you have iOS and if you have Android and you have the Facebook app, you are truly zucked. I don't care what your location settings are. Okay, I don't care about what your location settings are. Here's the problem. As it turns out, guys, the Facebook app decided to do its own Wi-Fi triangulation, which means it does not have to ask for permission from your device to track your location. Instead, it says, can I have network access? And then it does the sensing of the Wi-Fi around you, exactly what's used for Wi-Fi triangulation. Then it sends the Wi-Fi information directly to Facebook. Facebook can then figure out your location in the back end. They don't take your location from the phone directly. They use it using the Wi-Fi scanning feature, promiscuous mode, that they can do with this. And they do it on the Facebook app. That's why one of the things you do not put on your phone is the Facebook app. The Facebook app will be recording your location even when location turned off. It was in their data policy. It's actually on there. They even track MAC addresses. So it's pretty deadly. When I looked at the data they were capturing, I said, what the zuck? They're trying to perform Wi-Fi triangulation. And I realized I can do the same. Because if I have a database for Wi-Fi triangulation, which is a database of every single Wi-Fi and where they're located, which is what Google and Apple have, and Facebook can easily gather that, then in essence, Facebook can figure out its own location. There's no such thing as Wi-Fi is turned off, Tinker. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Wi-Fi triangulation is based on promiscuous mode. Promiscuous mode is a receive only mode. It's not a sending mode. When you have turn Wi-Fi off, all you're saying is turn off the signal to send. So since you don't know if you can actually power down the Wi-Fi, and how it reacts to being powered down for standby and all that, for power saving mode, I don't know exactly what is on and what's not. So you have to assume that promiscuous mode is always running. If promiscuous mode is running, the software can store the data for promiscuous mode anytime it wants. Let's say it wants to store it every few seconds. You heard that vaping can cause Wi-Fi dissonance? Then you better vape. Okay, so you have to assume that you cannot turn Wi-Fi off if you have a Android and an iPhone. So let's theorize that Jason Bourne wants to attend a anti-Trump protest. So Jason Bourne is thinking now, what do I bring? I mean, I know I can't bring a phone to the Trump protest because, Jason Bourne is so anti-Trump because Treadstone was started by Trump. Jason Bourne said, Trump started Treadstone. So I'm not a supporter of Trump because Trump started Treadstone, so it says Jason Bourne. So then what Jason Bourne says is, how do I get away? I need a phone because I need to be contacted, and I put a new SIM card on it. What do I do? So the first thing that I would suggest is to use a standard flip phone, right? Then I'll tell you the problem with the standard flip phone. The problem with this, Jason is your hero. The problem with the standard flip phone, guys, is that this is really incompatible with texting. So this device is really only suitable for voice. That's why they call this the old people's phone, because you give it to your to grandma and grandpa only. This is a grandma grandpa phone, okay? And the reason is grandma and grandpa are not going to text, so they're going to call and answer the traditional way, and they got to have big buttons and all that. So all of the flip phones out there are the big button ones, And here's the problem with the big button ones. They're not all compatible. For example, this one is not. This one is actually a little bit fancier. This one has a QWERTY keyboard on it, so this one is a little nicer, right? The problem with this phone is 3G support, because the problem is that back in the day when they had these phones, there were only 2G. Okay, yeah, you can remove the battery on these, yes. But the problem with these phones is they were only 2G. Well, unfortunately, 2G is not going to be available in 2020. So we're only a year away, or a few months away from losing 2G. So if you buy a phone now with no 2G, then it's not going to work anymore. So that's kind of a problem, and I can't recommend phones that have 2G on it because they may just be a waste of money. So if I'm going to figure a different phone, I'm going to make sure that they actually have 3G and the right kind of 3G. The other thing you need to consider is if you're going to put SIM cards in and all that, you can't use a CDMA phone. That's Sprint, Verizon. You can't use those. You got to use GSM. So if you're going to be changing SIM cards and using all that on a frequent basis, creating trying to create a equivalent to a burner phone, then you're going to have to go GSM unlocked. Time to dust off my CB radio. Yes. What are your thoughts on 5G? Is that the question? I don't have any thoughts on 5G, but every conspiracy theorist has a theory in that. But okay, so eSIM is not on these old ones. You don't want eSIM either, because it's going to fix the SIM on there. You don't want that. This is better to have replaceable SIM. So these are replaceable SIMs, so you can keep changing SIMs all day and then change your phone number, which is what you want. So these phones are great for that, but they don't have good texting or they don't have 2G. So I was saying to myself, so what can we use that's good with texting and has, this is the requirement that I have, that it has a way to have a QWERTY keyboard. It has to have QWERTY keyboard, otherwise it's not going to work. So I said, what kind of phone has a QWERTY keyboard? So here's a BlackBerry. Okay, this is a BlackBerry phone. This is a BlackBerry Bold. This was originally made in 2012. 2012, so that's 7 years ago. Okay, and yeah, they couldn't sell a lot of these anymore because unfortunately everyone went to by 2012 everyone was buying an iPhone, and this is not iPhone. This is not an iPhone. No, it's not. There's a link to my I'm gonna make another video with links to these, but there's a link to my video now. I just bought this from Amazon. In fact, it's this one's brand new, so it has it still has plastic on it. Completely brand new. Not a scratch. Completely brand new phone. Brand new battery. Completely brand new. Okay. Yeah. And this has complete texting capability. It's kind of a learning curve when you have an iPhone. But the nice thing about this is actually a smartphone. So this is not actually that dumb. It's a smartphone, so it does have Wi-Fi. But no, this is 2012. The nice thing about this particular BlackBerry, this is a BlackBerry 9900, I believe. You consider going back to my iPhone 3G. If it still works, yeah, an iPhone 3G probably won't have Wi-Fi triangulation because the chip is not the chip is not in the phone for triangulation. So the nice thing about this is using an OS that is neither Android nor iOS. This uses a BlackBerry OS. Therefore, this does not have any location tracking software on it. Even if the Wi-Fi had promiscuous mode, the OS can't use it. So this is about as safe as you can get, and it's fairly. So what I did here. So there's the back. Okay, there's the battery. Take off the battery, it's out of power. There's the SIM card. The SIM card uses that big one, the big SIM card. But what I did is, when they give you the SIM card, they give you the little one and the big one. So you just insert it over the big pattern one. So look, and let me pull it out to show you. I'm gonna make a video of this so you can see. Because the program, the OS here was programmed by BlackBerry, not by the zucking androids. When you hunt, do you have hunting dogs? Jason Bourne doesn't care about zucking hunting dogs. He only cares about treadstone. Okay, so let me just show you what I did here, so you can see. Okay, this is a SIM card. This is the SIM card that you put on your iPhone. This little thing here. Okay? That's the little SIM card you put on your iPhone. But when you buy a SIM card, they have a insert that you can use that makes it fit a bigger one. So I saved that from an old SIM card, and I put it over it like that. So I then insert the little SIM card over the big one, so then it's one full piece like that. Okay, then now this can now be inserted into this can now go inside your BlackBerry. So you could actually just transfer the SIM card from your iPhone or your Android into the BlackBerry directly, as long as you keep this this thing here. So you can just do that yourself, or you can do what I did. You can do what I did here, because instead of worrying about that, I said, is there a way to have a cheap service that, you know, if I need to be if I need to be you know, incognito, is there a way to do that? Like if I have to go to a protest, you know, is there a way to do that? So the answer is, I just have a SIM card here from Ting.com. Ting.com is a reseller for T-Mobile. So this is actually T-Mobile in here, and I stick it in here, and it gives me T-Mobile for approximately $10 a month. That's it. That's so for $10 a month, I have a ability to go incognito and just disappear. And when I'm using this particular phone, and I put the battery on, okay. When I'm using this particular phone and put the battery on, and I walk around with this, and I power off my iPhone, suddenly I'm invisible. Okay, and you can take the battery out if you want. You'll be tracked, you know, within cell phone tower range. But if you cannot be tracked to 6 zucking feet, you cannot be tracked to 6 zucking feet with this. Impossible. So you see what I did there? I mean, so now I have a 2-phone thing. So if I want to be, you know, doing my day to day, I need something that can do texting. Because nowadays, if you're not allowing texting, then you can't just be on a flip phone. That's not going to work. So I don't suggest flip phones, because, you know, you can't. It's not practical. The other thing that I found is that this little old Android here, I mean this little old BlackBerry, has Bluetooth. So meaning I can Bluetooth it to my car, no problem. It's new enough that it has Bluetooth on it, and it has so this is new enough to have Bluetooth on it. And also the other thing that I found out about this particular BlackBerry, this supports true 3G. No, you probably won't have Brax on. I don't think Brax will run on this. So you can support true 3G on this. This is supporting UMTS. Okay, UMTS is the true 3G, because some of them are 3G that's not compatible. This one is compatible with AT&T and T-Mobile. Ghost is on. Or the Zuck. What the Zuck is Ghost? Is that like the movie Ghost? Or some other ghost thing? So, okay, bye, Joe. So anyway, this will actually work. And not only will it will work probably for several years, because the 3G network isn't going to go away. So this is going to be fine. This is going to be fine for a while. The problem is, if you have one of these 2G phones, this may not work by next year. If you have one of these 2G phones, by next year this could be gone. So I actually went on the internet and searched for all the different phones. Oh, the actual Ghost. Yeah, but that's with Whoopi Zucking Goldberg. Whoopi Zucking Goldberg in there. Oh my gosh, they're reading my email. Yeah, that's Whoopi Goldberg zucked up. So they're reading my email at the ISP. Surprise. Okay, so that's why I've determined that although this will work today, it may not work tomorrow. So based on that, I have come up with the solution that this is the most practical in between. And she didn't know. Don't be mean. She didn't know. So goes from power to TV show. So anyway, this kind of phone Jason Bourne can carry. he can still be triangulated using cell phone towers. But if he has a disguise, then it'll be a bit more difficult. Then they have to use scammers to actually scan him to say, okay, he's in this quarter-mile zone. Let's look at all the cameras to see if he walks by him. I can't remember that that's a BlackBerry. This is the BlackBerry. I'm going to make a video of this so you can look at it close up and see what I'm talking about. I'm going to repeat this in a short video so that you understand. So don't worry about it right now. I'm going to compare all these in a more traditional way. My point, though, is from a Jason Bourne point of view, that I wanted to explain everything from SIM cards, how SIM cards work, how you got to learn karate. I found my Nokia phones, they still work, sort of get a SIM 3G. The problem is that some of them are supposedly 3G, but you actually have to know what frequency they use, because some of the 3G frequencies are not supported. So you actually have to be specific to the network. So what 3G do you mean when it's T-Mobile? What 3G do you mean when it's AT&T? That's not the same, because it depends on the country, it depends on whatever. So what I found out that this is the most, can I deploy a React Native app to the BlackBerry? I don't think so, Jerry. The whole point is to not use the Wi-Fi. It won't track your location, but yes, it's kind of a small screen. 3G Telstra, Zuck. So again, it's small enough that I can have this as my go-to phone when I'm driving around, whatever. I can always bring my phone, if I want to go do some apps or something, I can always bring my iPhone with me off. Turn it off. So you can carry this as your location saving phone, location anonymize your phone, and then power off your iPhone or your Android. Power it off. I don't think you're going to find too many old phones that are going to work. Since I have a stack of them. Most of us changed to smartphones by 2011, 2012. Very few people were using these BlackBerries. So this is actually, considering the model, it's actually, newer, because this would be equivalent to like an iPhone 5 kind of year, and that would be pretty good on the network. That will work on all the networks, an iPhone 5. So iPhone 5 is still good, but iPhone 5 tracks you, whereas this does not. The phone, we do know that even when turned off, the phone doesn't have something that stays on like some kind of beacon. Yes, that Starlight. Starlight. I gave you some links on Amazon on my video, so that you can actually find this on. You can find this brand new or used. Used, they're like $60. Brand new, they're like $149, $169, depending. So that's new. This is, as you can see, this is new. The reason I wanted new is because I wanted the battery to last. The problem with buying it used is sometimes you use it and the battery's already dead. Yeah. So I didn't want that risk, and I had to buy a new battery. So I preferred a newer one. So if you have, but not all BlackBerries. This is a specific model that actually supports the networks for the phone. So you have to look at that and see what you have. But I don't know if Starlight, you can't even break off the habit of using your phone for everything, including dictation. So what if this guy has a smart car? Also, if the phone wasn't charged in a few years, will it even charge? Yes. That's why I got a new one. Or buy a used one and then buy a new battery. Then it will last a while. Because this is not something you have to change every year. I mean, in theory, you can use it for many years because this is your second phone. No, a VPN doesn't stop the triangulation of the phone. the fact that an Android and iPhone tracks you has nothing to do with a VPN, because the IP address is not even part of this. Okay, remember remember who's doing the location tracking. It's Apple and Google. Apple and Google don't need an IP address. They know exactly what the device is, and they know exactly what the location of the device is. If they say somebody stole my phone, could Apple and Google find out where it is? I just told you what you should do. As I've done for you, I've got myself a second phone, for which I paid $10 for the SIM card a month, and that's it. It works. This does not triangulate. Is the answer not clear? What do you use a phone for the heaviest if you're worried about communicating? Usually it's texting. So you have to have a phone with texting. A flip phone isn't going to do it, because that means they have to call you. You can't text with a flip phone very easily because you can't type. So does it take great photos? Bring a fucking camera. I have a camera. I have a Canon G7X Mark II, very nice, fancy video camera that is this size, as big as this. Okay, it doesn't track me either. It's very nice camera. It's for vlogging. People on YouTube use that a lot. So the point is, if I'm going to go somewhere where I need to be safe and not to be tracked, I just switch phone. I can carry the other phone. I just turn it off. Where can I get securely going and get a SIM card? I got mine from Ting.com. Okay, so what I did is Ting.com allows you to get minimal service. So their service is basically for $10 a month. That's mostly for phone and texting, no data. I don't need data. Yeah, Ting.com allows you to. It's a reseller of T-Mobile, so you don't have to set up some expensive account for a spare phone. For $10, you're done. $10 a month. Okay, and then you can turn it off when you say, "Oh, I'm not going to use it." So you turn it off, and it can get as low as $3 a month if you're not using it. So they only charge you when you use a feature. So I found that for $10 a month, then you got a emergency phone that does not track you. And in today's world, most people don't care. But again, I'm here to talk about very specialized cases. Okay, brand wife fair phone thing. Why a fair? Except I never call anyone. It's not unlimited text. No, I think it's. You pay per 100. I think it's $3 or something per 100. So it's not unlimited text. You can just get a normal service for this phone, like a normal T-Mobile service. Nobody said you had to use what I'm saying. If it becomes your primary phone where you're going to get a lot of texting on it, then by all means get a normal service for it. I'm just saying that how would you do it as a secondary phone? You could just save money and transfer the SIM card from this bigger phone onto this. You can do that, which is what I did. But I happen to have a separate SIM card, so I just transferred over the SIM card. Okay? So I have a separate SIM card already. So I just transferred it over, and then I can do that. If you want to save money, you can just take your normal SIM card from here and transfer it to the little phone. Okay, some of you will say, well, I don't really care about that. This is too much effort for privacy. And I'm going to say, of course, you're going to say that. But, think about some of you who are, some of you have, are in professions or doing things that you may not want your movements to be tracked. Why would you want that? So if you're just staying at home, maybe you don't care, but maybe if you ever leave the home, do you really care, do you care that somebody knows what you're doing? SIM card is no way to be tracked, not by exact location, no. not by tracking location. So for those who came in late and may not understand this, I'm going to repeat it again. iOS and Android will track you at the office of Apple, at the office of Google, within 6 feet, regardless of location settings, VPN, whatever. Completely separate thing. It's hardware related. It's built into the OS. So if a 3-letter agency goes into Apple and Google and says, I want all the locations for X person, they can find all the locations you've ever been. Okay? Now, if you want to say, well, that's okay, I don't really care about the 3-letter agencies, that's fine too. Now, if the threat is going to come from private people, you say, does somebody have a contact inside Google or Apple that can get this information? If they can, then you're still zucked. If you're worried about third-party apps will get your information with Wi-Fi triangulation if you give them location permissions. So you have to turn off location permissions, and then you don't need to worry about this. But still, Apple and Google will always know where you are. I want to repeat this. Apple and Google will always know where you are. You cannot turn it off. Apple and Google will know where you are. They will likely share that information about where you are to the carrier. So you can also say this. Apple, Google, and likely the carrier will know exactly where you are at all times. I just want to make that clear. This kind of device has no technology to do that. There's no Wi-Fi triangulation built into a BlackBerry, so there is no way they can do it on here. When did they get the right to do this? Because you let them, nobody complained. Here's where we are. I have to be the one to tell you because nobody tells you. So it's very disgusting. I already said, hey, I'll make a video of this in the next day or so to show you the actual phone. Does Apple use it? I don't have any. Well, they use it on Find My Phone. John, go look at Find My. You say to yourself, is iPhone tracking me? Yeah, go look at Find My Phone. Well, obviously, it's tracking you there. It's tracking your iPads. It's tracking whatever device you have. In the name of public safety, an Apple mask with the benefit of Find My Phone. I don't know what you're saying, the custodian, but yes, Apple gives you the Find My Phone. Say it's a benefit for you that we know where your phone is. The problem is, who else knows, and what can they do with that data? Can you imagine that between Apple and Google, they know the location of practically every person above the age of 10 in the world? Tinkerballs. Find My Phone is for you to see where you are. Has nothing to do with what Apple has. Find My Phone says, this is what Apple has on you. If you turn off Find My Phone, you're saying, I don't want to know what Apple has on me. Maybe you misunderstand that. Find My Phone on and off switch is to tell you, do you want to see what Apple has on your location? Otherwise, turn it off. Then you can't see where you are. It doesn't mean they don't know where you are. They do know where you are. E911. E911 will know, yes. That's one of the things that somebody was telling. It's a conspiracy theory with E911. Because in theory, E911 can be used with that and find you exactly with this. Okay? So where is this an issue? People having, if you're having an affair, I'll say you're zucked. I'm saying, if you're having an affair, you're pretty zucked. This is the answer, Tinkerballs. Have a second phone like this. Just pulled the battery out of my iPhone. Pull the battery out on my Android. Yes, hey. Tell me how I do that on these phones. Pull the battery out on a smartphone. Yep. I don't know how to do that. So, yeah, they also made it so you cannot pull out the battery on a new smartphone, so you're pretty much zucked. Are you offering franchises? What is a franchise? So you're pretty much zucked. Anyway, I'm saying to you, it's kind of an obvious thing for some people because of what they do, that they don't want their location to be tracked. But it may not be obvious to others. So for those of you where it's obvious and you say to yourself, based on what I do, I don't like to be tracked like that, then I certainly want to have an option. Yes, so the option is, as I said, I'm going to give you an actual video to show you more of this. And I'll show you close up so you can see what I'm talking about in the next day or so. So don't go buy it yet. Just I'll show you the model and why out of the models that I chose, because there's only that many. There's only a few models. I think there are only like no more than 7 or 8 models you can choose from at the moment. You can't actually. There's only 7 or 8 models you can choose from, and of that, maybe only 2 are good for texting. Just 2. So it kind of limits the availability. Because I found out that this was the best one, I got this. Go vegan, go wired. Are you saying nobody's watching at YouTube? Is that what you're saying? I hope you all click the like button on YouTube. Please click like. This, Tinker. Watch the video. Are you following me on YouTube, Tinker? Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube. I'll show you the actual video with the actual model and the link. The link. Then you can buy this used or new or whatever you want. I'm watching on YouTube chatting here. No, I'm talking about Tinker. So Tinker wants to know the exact model. Okay? Tinker, subscribe to my YouTube account and then, okay, bro. I will give you the link to the exact model. You really have to have an exact model, guys. It's very specific, and I explain on the video why. You have to be very specific. I don't want you to buy the wrong thing. You will go through the same exercise of researching. It was very hard to research. It took a lot of time to research why. I'm not selling them. No, I just pass it on to Amazon. No, I'm not physically selling them. So I'll give you, you got to have some specific models, because if you pick the wrong one, you will end up having to return it and not knowing why it doesn't work for you. So I got to explain why. And so that's one of the reasons I can't like oversimplify it. I want to make sure I actually have the video explaining the pieces about what kind of 3G it has to have and so on. Doesn't always want to ask for a favor, but it will help him so much more if we... You mean like if you watch on YouTube? Yes. Yes, I'm at... I need 4,000 watch hours. I need 4,000 watch hours on YouTube, and I'm not there yet. I'm not at 4,000 watch hours. So yes, it truly is very, very helpful if you watch on YouTube to give me those watch hours. If you want to watch replays, on YouTube, when maybe go on the computer and watch it there, or leave it on YouTube, that would be appreciated. So those are all helpful tools, because I need to get to 4,000 watch hours, and I can't fake it. So if you're not doing anything and you just want to, switch on a YouTube video of mine running in the background, you may want to do the playlist so I can play all of them. And that would be cool. Notification bell for new content. Can we send iPhone watch hours? No, we can't. But YouTube, yeah, YouTube can be done on an iPhone or Android or whatever device. It's just YouTube. So it does know if you're on YouTube. So I'm gonna make a video explaining the devices. Not all Blackberries will work. So in fact, I have to do some research for what other options there are on the Blackberries. because some of them may have other features. This is the one that I found, which is actually pretty nice looking phone. I mean, it's nice and solid. I mean, it's a very nice phone. And BlackBerry is known for very very good feeling keys. Although I have to say, this one here is not bad at all. This one feels great. The problem is, I think this is only 2G. So this is not gonna work soon. So can text take hell on one of those? Yeah. No attachments and no images though. I mean, plain old texting. Okay, texting works fine, but if you're one of the types that are always sharing videos and all that, well, zuck that. That's not good for your privacy. This one is for texting, and yes, Deborah keep reminding me which one you are. Okay, so I'll just imagine you with your Prada bag. I'll imagine you with a Prada bag. Don't forget to like the video. Please don't forget to like the video here on YouTube. Anyway, can you give us a 3G or 4? Yeah, this is 3G. There are no 4G solutions. None. There are no 4G solutions. Guaranteeing you right now. But you do have 3G solutions. 3G will be around a while. We're okay with 3G. 2G is going to be out by next year. Okay? This one. This is a, I don't know the model though. I got to find out what model this is. This is a Samsung. I don't know what model Samsung. So what to do when 3G is not going to go away for a while, Tinker. Hopefully by then somebody will. Is there a 1G? Yeah, there is, but I don't think any phones work anymore. Looks like your old. This is a Samsung. The model isn't written on it, so I can't tell you what the model is. But this is a Samsung. This is pretty cool. This actually would work, except for the fact that it's not 3G. Get a Big Mac, get a BlackBerry 2008G. What the fuck does that mean? Okay, I'm gonna do a video again for this, so don't be. You don't need to worry about the details because I'm gonna explain to you exactly. If you want to look for alternative phones, if you want to look for alternative phones, you got to understand what you have to look for, because even though this is not the only model that you want, that you can get, what are you looking for, and that limits kind of the your choices. Okay, that's why it's important to have me explain it with the tech details in here later on, so you understand the problem. Okay, so suffice it to say, in conclusion, Jason Bourne would do much better with this phone. He can text, do it quietly. Jason Bourne would do better with this phone. Okay? Yes, it's sleek, it's solid, it's metal, surrounded by very nice stainless. It's kind of like an iPhone 5 kind of feel. And nice solid weight. It's pretty good. And then the battery's replaceable, so that you don't have to worry about the battery dying. This will probably I'm gonna guess you could probably use this for next 5 years, which is pretty long time for a phone. I would guess that for next 5 years you'll be able to use that. Okay, that's just this 1 year, maybe less. You don't want that. Waste of time. Okay? So anyway, I will give you a video with more details on explaining the phone selection. I just want to make sure you understand the problem with SIM cards, the problem with iPhone and iOS, because I don't want to have to go repeat that. What is a BlackBerry S10? If you look at the criteria for what I'm going to use, you can then check if the criteria match from what I was looking at. Okay, Wizard? I can't check every single model, but if you know what the criteria is that I'm looking for, which is the minimum level that you need, then you can choose a matching one. The ones that you cannot get, Wizard, are the new BlackBerries. If you're talking about the new Android BlackBerries, no. Let me repeat that. You cannot use the Android BlackBerries because Android will have the tracking software and the tracking hardware and the Wi-Fi. So no Android. If it has Android on it, which is the new BlackBerries have Android, they're just standard Android phones, they're not going to do it. Those have to be excluded from the list. No brand new Android smartphones from BlackBerry. Okay? Just want to make that clear. So, gotta make that clear. I just heard on 1010 Wins they will be giving college credits for a growing. What the zuck is 1010 Wins, and what the zuck are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. I think I'm going back. You carry tracks, phone maker tracks, but no control over that with smartphones. That's correct. Okay? So, for an old ass BlackBerry, as Tinker says, this is actually not bad. For an old BlackBerry, this actually is functional. You can use it for your car, you can use it for texting, You just look goofy on the street with a old phone and say, whoa, look at that. That's like whatever. Anyway. I'll summarize it in a video. A quick video that will have all the details so you can just use it as a reference and you can go back and forth, okay? I'll give you a new video because this is not the only model. So, you have to look at the characteristics of the phone. Okay? You got to look for what characteristics of the phone made me choose this particular model, but there are other models that might work. If you sign it, it could be a collector's item sold on eBay. I have very bad handwriting. Dare to be different. Good for emergency calls. Yes, dare to be different. Imagine carrying this around. It's like people see you with that. Like, whoa, you're different. And it's like, I'm cool. I'm not tracked. Maybe wear a t-shirt. I am not tracked by my phone. I'm old. I need tracking for when I forget my way. Sup, Sam? Text you give your mistress one of these too, so you have both a pair. Can you imagine? Let me just theorize this. You're having an affair. And by the way, in the book, God's Eye View, the book that I was telling you, there was actually an example in there, because the agent was having an affair, and they tracked the intersection of two phones in the same location. You got to read that book, then you understand what I'm talking about. Okay? It's kind of violent. It's a violent book. But once you have an idea of what the book is doing, then you're going to understand exactly what I'm talking about. Okay? And then you start to say, oh my gosh. And but the book is very accurate when it comes to the phone side. The part of it that's a bit out of date is the location tracking, because there was no Wi-Fi triangulation when the book was written. Okay? So imagine if you go walk around with this, but your mistress has this. Okay? Well, one of you is going to be zucked. Of course, they're never going to find these two phones together because of Wi-Fi triangulation. It's not going to be on this phone. But one of you is being tracked. So, you still have to be careful. So the answer is get two of these. Get two. This is like, this is just funny to me. It's just hilarious what people go through and like complicating their lives, but it's what happens. So I'm just telling you what the truth is, because most of you will not think about it. Okay? So if you want to be safe, because you're meeting somebody for whatever reason, could be business or you could be detectives. Use these. The mistress phone. I should call it that. The BlackBerry programmers are monks in the Andes, karma and agile scrums. Just saying. Are they trying to fit? No, the BlackBerry is now a Android. Wizard, the new BlackBerries are now Androids. So they're zocked up. Okay? So you do not want the new Android. They're not BlackBerries. They're not going to serve your purpose. So I want to make sure that's clear. Again, watch. I'm going to make a video in the next day or so. And I just have to script it tonight or tomorrow. I'm going to write the script so it's clear. And then use that as a reference for this coming week. Okay, guys? So, as always, subscribe to my YouTube account. That's where the video will be on YouTube. So, please subscribe to my YouTube account if you want to see that video with that reference on it. Yeah, please watch that video. Any live call-in? No. And then, as usual, you need a VPN also. If you're browsing on the internet, you need a VPN. So I'm going to tell you something that's very interesting. PIA just raised their price. PIA just raised their price. So PIA now is their Bytes VPN is a great bargain compared to PIA because Bytes VPN comes with Tor routing. So Bytes VPN is an awesome bargain now compared to PIA. So Bytes VPN is not only a superior VPN for you for many reasons in a video that I made on VPNs, but it's also priced right because it comes with two products, not one, it comes with two. So if you consider the fact that it comes with two products, it's cheaper than PIA. In 1998, I thought Palm Pilots would be all the rage. You still have a Palm Pilot? I still have a, what is it? Pocket phone. Do you have one of those? I have one of those pocket phones. Pocket PC. I have a Pocket PC running Windows. I don't know what a I got to check the models. Again, I'll have to specify. If you, E.T. Buck, if you know some specific models that I can put on my video to check for you, why don't you pass it on to Brax and tell me what models you want me to check for you, and I will put it on the video so that I can be more specific, okay? I had a phone that was the size of a brick. Still use your Zune. Who remembers that phone? How about a Zune? Yeah. Or even a iPod Nano. 50 cents a minute. I bought an iPad Nano. Had a Palm Pilot. What's the oldest Windows you got going? Well, I still have, 3.1, Windows 3.1 discs. But you're asking the wrong person here because I have, I probably have a DOS disk somewhere. DOS 1.0 in the original box. I may still have that somewhere. Gotta look. Razer phone. Okay, so pass me, if you have a specific model you want me to check and see, compatibility, send it to me on Brax and I'll put it in the video. Motorola shoulder bag. So this is going to be fun. I'm going to enjoy having this. I'm going to plan out how I'm going to use this because it does require some thinking. You can't just have him. It's like, how is it convenient for me to use? What are my procedures? When do I bring it? When do I not bring it? Okay? Because what's the point of having this if somebody in my family has a iPhone next to me? So, will you get the fold phone? Not likely, no. I told people I was studying medicine. Yeah, I will not likely get the fold phone. So that is not in the works. I have an iPhone 10. I didn't buy the new model iPhone. I don't feel a need for it. I don't know if if nothing changes on the iPhone, the next one, maybe I don't update this one either. This is pretty good still. Bell Atlantic Special Edition is my oldest telephone. So anyway, watch for my videos this week. Follow me on YouTube if you want to see these videos on this. Many not born by then. And we'll do videos on the rest of the week. I don't have any broadcast until Friday. And then we'll converge again on Friday adult beverage night. Are there really no modern phones that are safe? No, Tinker, I have not found one. By modern, are you saying are they newly made? Some of the phones are actually brand new. They're they're newly made, but they're using the same chips and such from the old days. So the answer is no. I'm running on an iPhone SE. Fine for me. That's still tracking you, Ben. An iPhone SE is an iPhone 5 equivalent. That's tracking you. So that definitely has Wi-Fi triangulation. Okay? Can we build our own phones? Yeah, build one with no Wi-Fi. Does anyone remember the beeper commercial where the guy picks up how put her date in the car and as what? You should have typed that on YouTube. Okay, so he walked. I'm gonna go read that Starlight. Okay, so see you see you this coming Friday, and watch out for the videos on in between. Good night, my friends. Yes, Jerry. Okay. Good night.